for Smart Financial Credit Union. Today I want to talk to you about Hello and welcome to the Houston Black Tech Symposium. My name is Marcus Manning. I am the Chief Information Officer for Smart Financial Credit Union. Today I want to talk to you about navigating the journey of IT leadership. IT leadership is definitely a journey and not a destination. I've been in the IT space for almost 30 years now. I've been in IT leadership for 20 plus years now. So today I want to spend a few minutes with you, sharing with you some of the success stories that I've had along my journey and some of the failures as well. So hopefully I can leave you with something that's inspiring, something that's motivating, that's going to help you along your IT leadership journey. Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoy the message. Navigating the journey of IT leadership. IT leadership is definitely a journey and not a destination. Today I want to spend a few minutes talking to you about my IT journey and some of the things that I've learned along my path. When I think about IT leadership or just leadership in general, I think about the king of the jungle. I think about the lion. I think about the qualities of a lion that a lion exudes on a day-to-day basis that makes him the king of the jungle. A lion is authentic. Lions are true to themselves and others, and they encourage these behaviors in others. A lion is confident. Lions are self-assured and have a growth mindset. A lion is decisive. Lions are focused on achieving their goals and making quick decisions. A lion is fearless. Lions are not afraid to take risks to achieve their goals. A lion leads by example. Lions lead their pride and set the tone for the group. A lion is a protector. Lions are protective of their young, territory, and themselves. A lion is a strategic thinker. Lions have the ability to envision where they're headed and stay the course until they reach their goal. Doing some research, I've stumbled on a definition that I feel like really encapsulates what leadership is. Leadership is the ability to guide and influence others and yourself towards a common vision or goal. Well, some of you may be saying, how can you lead yourself? Well, it's very simple. Who wakes you up in the morning if you're no longer at home with your parents and they wake you up? Who tells you you need to get out of the bed? Who tells you that you need to eat breakfast and get to work on time and do the things that you're expected to do? You are a leader of yourself, whether you realize that or not. Great leaders typically have a few things in common. Great leaders are knowledgeable, approachable, decisive, compassionate most of the time, supportive, honest, visionaries, lead with grit, and are fearless. Several leaders have these common themes as well as others in common. Today we'll focus on a few tenets of great IT leadership: trust, communication, empathy, empowerment, and relationships. Great leaders build trust. Trust is a confidence in each other's capabilities and intentions. Trust is built over time. Trust is not one of those things where you walk in the office and say, I automatically trust this person. Some people may operate in that space, but I feel that trust is built and developed over time. And I think trust is really the foundation of building great relationships and being a great leader. Providing psychological safety. I think if leaders provide an area where people feel comfortable coming to them, having conversations, whether good or bad, as long as they stay respectful, then providing that psychological safety really gives the opportunity for the leaders as well as their employees an opportunity to grow and to succeed. Treating each other with dignity and respect is a must. This is a big one for me, regardless of whether you're the janitor or you're the CEO. We should always treat each other with dignity and respect, and that's a must when it comes to being a great leader. Meet people where they are. Sometimes leaders try to use a cookie cutter approach, and they try to treat all employees the same. Well, all of us aren't the same. We're all unique in our own special way. So we need to make sure as leaders that we're meeting people where they are. Leaders are encouraging and reward greatness. Leaders are the ones that really push people to their greatness, and they really give them an opportunity to flourish and to grow. And when they see greatness occurring, great leaders reward that as well. Great leaders are also authentic and transparent. Great leaders don't necessarily put on a mask or wear their executive hats all the time or wear their leadership hat all the time. Be authentic who you are and transparent with who you are. Be consistent in the boardroom. Be consistent when you're meeting with your peers. Be consistent when you're meeting with your employees. So be sure that you bring the true you to the table and you're being authentic and transparent. Great leaders are effective communicators. Your ability to communicate effectively will leave a lasting impact on your team and your peers. And communication is both verbal and nonverbal. It's what you say, it's what you don't say. It's your body language, it's the smile you have on your face, it's the crossing of your arms, it's the engagement that you have in meetings, it's the body language that you exude. So communication is a key part of leadership, and verbal and nonverbal communication is a key part of being an effective communicator. Great IT leaders have the ability to communicate and translate complex topics into simple, digestible messaging. I have a great story. So during the Bitcoin era, which is still around, but it's not as prevalent as it used to be, one of our board members said, "Hey, Marcus, can you give us a presentation on this blockchain thingy?" Well, our board of directors are retired, and they've been retired for a long time. So some of them are a bit seasoned, if you will. So I had to take the complex conversation or the complex concepts around blockchain, Bitcoin, and explain that to that audience. And that's going to be a situation that you may or may not encounter, but it's important to be able to translate complex topics into digestible messaging. And communication is a two-way street. So a lot of times we talk at our employees as opposed to talking to our employees. So be sure that you are communicating and you're receiving as well as sending messaging. So feedback is a gift. If there are some things that don't sit well with your employees or they don't quite understand, be sure that you're creating an environment to where they have the opportunity to provide you that feedback. It makes you a better leader as well. Great leaders show empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand the needs of others and being aware of their feelings and thoughts. We're not robots, and I know a lot of times we don't necessarily think about the soft skills of leadership, and that's the leading with compassion and understanding others and being aware of their thoughts and their feelings. Especially if you're bringing your whole self to work, then you're going to have feelings, you're going to have thoughts, you're going to have emotions. So acknowledge when your employees are feeling a certain way and let them know that you have provided a safe space for them to feel the way that they're feeling. And be an active listener. If they have some things they'd like to discuss with you without being too intrusive or some things that are affecting their work environment, be sure that you're listening to what they're saying and not necessarily positioning yourself just to react to what they're saying. And then also follow up and have regular check-ins. So if you see that some of your employees are struggling or they're having some challenges, follow up with them. See how they're doing. Check in with them. Is there anything you need from me? And meet people where they are, as we discussed earlier. So be sure that you're not using a cookie-cutter approach. Provide a safe space for open, honest communication. And again, communication is two-way. So provide an environment where people can be open and honest with you, and you can be open and honest with them. In a respectful way, of course, and as it pertains to the work environment, but be sure that you are creating those type of environments. And be encouraging. So a lot of times we need that extra oomph or that extra push. Leaders are very encouraging when it comes to their teams. Provide guidance and support. Sometimes employees may come and ask you for guidance, and sometimes they won't. So you really get to know your employees and get to see when they need the guidance and get to see when they don't need the guidance. And let them know that I got your back, not I got you. I caught you doing something bad, you're in trouble. let them know, hey, I got your back. It's okay to fail. Let's fail fast. Let's make sure we're not making the same mistakes over and over again. But I got you. I got your back. Not I got you. You're in trouble. Great leaders empower their teams. Great leaders identify the strengths and align the roles of those strengths to the roles of the organization. So if you have someone that's a very strong engineer, you want them in an engineering space. You have someone that's strong in coding, you want them in a coding space. You have someone that's strong in infrastructure, you want them in an infrastructure space. Make sure that you have the right people in the right seats when it comes to empowering your teams, because that's really going to help them thrive. And also delegate to show trust. This is a big one for me. I had some struggles with this early on. I felt like delegating was not necessarily one of my strengths, but I felt like delegating was a way to get out of work, or if you were delegating something, you were being lazy. And that's not the case. I had to learn that over time. So say, for instance, if I had two very important tasks to take care of, and I only had a certain amount of time to do that, well, I could delegate one of those tasks to someone that I trust, because we build trust, and then I can take on the other task, and we both can get that done at the same time, as opposed to me taking twice as long to get those two things accomplished. So delegate to show trust. Also set clear expectations. A lot of times people don't meet expectations because they don't know what those expectations are. And a good way of doing that is to set those expectations and ask questions when it comes to that two-way communication that we talked about. Do you understand what my expectations are? And get an agreement on, yes, I do understand. Articulate outcomes, not how to do your job. So I am definitely not a fan of micromanaging. Be sure that you have the right people. Be sure that you understand what the outcomes are. Be sure that you're articulating those outcomes, and then let them go and be great. You don't have to tell people how to do their jobs. That's what you hired them for. So be sure that we're not dictating or we're not micromanaging. Just articulate outcomes and trust your teams to get those things done. Accept ideas and feedback. Don't be a know-it-all. No one knows everything about technology. I don't care if you're Bill Gates. I don't care if you're Steve Jobs. I don't care if you're one of the smartest people in the IT industry. No one knows everything. There was technology that was here 10 years ago that's not here today. There will be technology here 5 years from now, and we're going to have to learn those technologies. So don't come across as if you are a know-it-all. And again, we talked about provide recognition. So when you see someone doing something well, recognize them, and be sure you understand what type of recognition that they like. I had an engineer, he did a phenomenal job, and I decided I was going to recognize him in front of our board of directors. So I invited him to the meeting, and he came in, and I could tell immediately that he was very uncomfortable. Well, after the meeting, he called me and said, hey, Marcus, I appreciate the gesture, but I don't like public recognition, and that didn't really sit well with me. So if we do that in the future, can we do something different? He's very polite, very respectful, but now I know the type of recognition that he likes. He's not a public recognition type of person. So be sure you understand what recognition your employees want and what they need when it comes to recognition. Great leaders build strong relationships, and strong relationships are based on trust, as we mentioned earlier. It's also based on mutual respect. Respect your position, whatever that position is, and command or demand mutual respect for you and your position. Be sure you're setting boundaries as well, because a lot of times as leaders, we don't set those boundaries and we don't respect our employees' boundaries. So be sure that you're setting your own boundaries, and be sure that you're respecting your employees' boundaries as well. And be sure that you're delivering on your commitments. This is one of those things where that trust that you build over time, as you move along your path and you are committed and you consistently deliver on what your commitments are, that's really going to help build strong relationships, and that's really going to help you as far as your brand is concerned. And also honesty. This is one that I don't think it needs to be said, but I'll mention it anyway. Be sure that you're being open and honest and authentic with who you are. I know in my experience, I've had some employees that didn't feel comfortable coming to me being honest about a mistake that they made. Well, as we walk through some of those mistakes and they see that I've built this trust with Marcus, I'm not going to lose my job or he's not going to do anything, punitive to me because of these mistakes. Well, I can be honest with him. I can go to him now and say, yes, I made a mistake. I'm being honest about it. And I respect that as long as we don't make the same mistakes over and over again. Be a leader, not a boss.
Guys, stupid. I'm the boss, and you all must do what I say.
You're right, sir. You are the boss.
What, newbie?
I said you're right, sir. You are the boss. You say it without hesitation.
That's right.
That's why today I'd like to give you something.
What is it, newbie?
My letter of resignation.
Oh, really, newbie? You don't want to work here? Big mistake.
Well, as a new employee, your leadership skills make me concerned. And if you don't mind, before I leave, I'd like to give you some parting words.
What can you teach me? I can't wait to hear this. Go ahead, new guy.
Well, sir, I don't think you're all bad. But somewhere down your path, you got lost. I think you used to be a leader, but now you're just a boss.
What's the difference?
Well, see, a boss says I. A leader says we. Bosses are blinded by pride, while leaders can really see. A leader always asks. Bosses, they command. See, a boss points fingers, but a leader extends a hand. A boss says go. Leaders say let's go. Leaders consider ideas. Bosses say heck no. See, a boss push you down. Leaders will lift you up. Because leaders give love. A boss don't give a
what?
Bosses use people, abuse people. Leaders groom people. They look for what's good inside and improve people. Leaders have mastered the art of inspiration. Bosses have mastered the art of manipulation. A boss yells and screams like they're on a TV show. A leader treats the janitor like the CEO. They are compassionate and know the community comes first. Bosses think culture's something only found in yogurt. Sir, ask yourself this question. I'm not trying to be your teacher, but have you ever heard of a world boss?
I haven't.
Or is it world leader, religious leader, community leader, business leader? Don't you see it? A leader is who you should be. A boss is just meager. Sir, entrepreneurs have a big responsibility. I believe we are the only ones who can save our world. Literally. Not politicians, not government. We won't do it religiously. We do it through serving our clients' best needs individually.
Our clients.
But maybe you think good service won't take you far. Maybe you think if you started to serve, our stock will fall.
Our stock?
Well, the great Henry Ford will be appalled, because he said a business devoted to service will have one worry about profits.
Yeah, what's that?
They will be embarrassingly large. Sir, this is a higher call. Does that make sense? We are here to work for a dream, not just a paycheck. We are here to be fantastic and sensational, not just transactional, but transformational. Profit comes when we are committed to the vision, and we will have the biggest ROI. Return on intention. Sir, I sincerely hope you change your ways and overcome your obstacles. You teach a lot about leadership here. Mostly, what not to do.
Wait. How do you know so much about business? And you said our stock? Who is this guy?
Well, the truth is, I lied. I'm not your employee, sir.
Who are you?
You're mine. I'm the founder of this company, and you need to learn a thing or two about our core meaning. Tomorrow morning, first thing, I'd like to see you at our board meeting.
Wow, what a powerful video. Let's ensure that we're being a leader and not a boss. Lastly, I want to talk about the Marcus Minute. So this is the last minute that I spend on the presentation. I normally go past a minute, so forgive me in advance. But these are some of the things that I've learned along my journey and along my path. Lead by example. Behavior is contagious. So as leaders, we are somewhat operating in a fishbowl. So people will see what you're doing, both good and bad. And your behavior is contagious. So if they see you doing good things, they'll do good things. If they see you doing bad things, they'll do bad things. So be sure that you're leading by example. Give 100% at whatever you do. So my dad used to always say, hey, if you're not going to give 100%, then don't suit up to play the game. So be sure that you're giving 100% of the time, regardless of what you're doing. Operate in the spirit of excellence. You want to make sure that your brand and your product has a spirit of excellence. You don't want to halfway do anything. So be sure that you're always operating in a spirit of excellence. Persevere through adversity. Tough times don't last, tough people do. I've heard this phrase saying, hey, if you're going through HELL, keep going. Because at some point in time, you will get out and keep going. So tough times don't last, but tough people do. Learn from your mistakes. So we all make mistakes and we'll all continue to make mistakes. But be sure that you're learning from those mistakes and not making the same mistakes over and over again. Let yourself off the hook. When you do make a mistake, give yourself some grace. Hey, I made a mistake. I'm not perfect. I'll get up, I'll dust myself off, and I'll give it another shot. So be sure that you are letting yourself off the hook. Do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. So a lot of times there are things that we have to do, as we navigate our journey of IT leadership, we don't necessarily want to do. Some of those 3 a.m. phone calls, we don't want to do that, but that's part of what we signed up for. Or if a website crashes and we have to get it back up. Something that we don't necessarily want to do, but that's part of our journey, and that's part of us getting to where we're doing what we want to do instead of doing what we have to do. Be a problem solver, not an argument winner. When you're having conversations, be sure that you're focusing on the problem that you're trying to solve as opposed to winning an argument. I know I've been in situations where we've had conversations and it goes down the path of we're trying to see who can win the argument. Well, at the end of the day, a lot of times you forget about what problems we're trying to solve because you're trying to win an argument. Don't get lost in leadership. This goes back to that authenticity. Don't forget who you are. Don't think that you're so highly of yourself since you've gotten to the point of C-level or whatever your leadership aspirations are. Don't get lost in leadership. Don't think that you're better than anyone else because all of us are valuable in our own areas or in our own areas of expertise. Learn who you do not want to be. So if you haven't encountered a bad leader, you will at some point. And when you do, be sure that you're taking lessons from that leader. Be sure that you're taking note of, okay, I see how I feel working for this person, or I see how it feels to work for this person and I don't like it. So when I'm in a leadership role, I'm not going to treat my employees that way. So be sure that you learn who you do not want to be as a leader. And never stop learning. Like we said, technology has been around for a long time and it constantly evolves. But be sure that you're a consistent and a constant learner. Life is a journey, not a destination. There will be some bumps in the road. There will be some peaks and some valleys. But be sure, as we said earlier, be sure that you keep going. Take a chance on someone else. So when you get to a point where you've opened some doors or you have knocked down some doors or you have been a trailblazer in some spaces, be sure that you're taking a chance on others who are coming behind you. Be sure that you're giving people opportunities to get their foot in the door or get that experience that they're looking for. So be sure that you're reaching back and you're helping someone once you've gotten to a point where you feel like that you've been successful in your career. And lastly, get stuff done. So be sure that you're adding value. Be sure that you are accomplishing things, and be sure that you're doing things, not just necessarily busy work, but work that's adding value and you're accomplishing things. So be sure that you're GSD, you're getting stuff done. And I think this really sums up what leadership is all about. This really encompasses everything that we talked about. And I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. If you make them feel like a rock star, they're gonna remember that probably for the rest of their lives. If you make them feel like they can conquer the world, they're probably gonna they're probably gonna feel that way for the rest of their lives as well. So be sure that you are keeping that compassion in mind. Be sure that you're keeping that empathy in mind. Be sure that you're keeping that emotional connection in mind when it comes to leading your teams. So hopefully you've gotten some nuggets out of what we talked about today. Hopefully you have gotten some tips or some pointers, and hopefully you have learned some things that will help you along your IT journey. So thank you for your time today, and go be great.